perspective. They're in the best and worst days of this life. You were always on my side. Come on, do you believe that? You're in the pain, you're in the promise, and on the days the furnace finds my fate, you're the fourth within the flames. I don't need to know what the future said, 'cause if the past could talk, it would tell me this: my God isn't finished yet. If he did it before, he can do it again. So I trust him with what comes next. For the God I know is known for faithfulness. Yeah, when hindsight said I can trust him with what's next. For the God I know is known for faithfulness. There's more ahead than what's behind me, 'cause through the highs and lows and in between, God, you go ahead of me. And when you call me, I will follow. And if the water falls beneath my feet, then you'll pull me from the deep. I don't need to know what the future says, 'cause if the past could talk, it would tell me this: my God isn't finished yet. If he did it before, he can do it again. So I trust him with what comes next. For the God I know is known for faithfulness. Yeah, my hindsight said I can trust him with what's next. For the God I know is known for faithfulness. Sing it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, sing out on it. I don't need to know what the future says, 'cause if the past could talk, it would tell me this. Come on, sing it with me. My God isn't finished yet. If he did it before, he can do it again. So I trust him with what comes next. 'Cause my hindsight says I can count on this: my God isn't finished yet. If he did it before, he can do it again. So I trust him with what comes next. For the God I know is known for faithfulness. Yeah, my hindsight says I can trust him with what's next. For the God I know is known for faithfulness. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Arise, my soul, remember this. He took my sin and he buried it. No longer I who live, now Jesus lives in me. For I was dead in sin, but I woke up to see.
So this is just what's going on now, and then once we finish, it goes into a 5-minute countdown. Which is what it's like, because that's the first one. It goes into 10 minutes to go. Which might be nice to do, to be honest. Hello, welcome to Lifecentral Church Online.
Yes, it's so good to have you with us for our pre-service hangout. We are delighted that we can be here with you.
Yeah, my name is Andy.
And my name is Beth.
And we are sitting close because we're living in the same household, so we don't need to socially distance. But everybody who's working here today to make this live stream happen is adequately socially distancing, which is great. It's so good to see you.
I know, it is amazing. Now, we've got 3 different platforms that you can be joining us on this morning: Facebook, YouTube, and Church Online. And we'd love for you to engage with us this morning in the comment sections. So throughout the service, maybe type in there different things that are impacting you and things you're getting out of the service. You might want to highlight some funny moments that you are finding particularly joyful this morning. But we'd love you to comment and say maybe where you're from, maybe what is your beverage of choice this morning while you're here with us.
Yeah, we would love to know where you're from. We want to give some shout outs, particularly if you're watching and you're not from the regions of Halesowen, Hagley and Rowley, and you're watching from somewhere far away. We would love to welcome you and say hello to you. And people already saying hello on the chats, which is great. And we want to encourage you to engage right throughout the service. If something's speaking to you, write it down, put it on the chat if you agree. If someone says something, feel free to write amen in capital letters if you want to. If there's a particular song, feel free to write down the lyrics of the song. We want to encourage you to engage with our comment section on all of our platforms right throughout the service. But we've got a special guest joining us this week.
Yes, we have indeed. Whilst we've all been in our homes during lockdown, actually there's been loads of amazing things happening and God's been doing loads, and we're going to hear a little bit about some of that right now. So we'd just love to welcome Jess. She should appear on our screens. Yay! Hello, Jess. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm good, thank you.
Amazing. So we would love you just to share a little bit about what has gone on with you in the past few weeks, and especially I think there's something that happened around Easter Sunday that you'd love to share with everyone.
Yeah. Okay, so on Easter Sunday, gone a few weeks ago, I messaged the link to the rebroadcast of the Easter production Reckless Love to my friends in hope that they'd watch it who aren't Christian. And I didn't really get a very good response. Like, none of them watched it. They were just like, oh yeah, like maybe. And I was a bit sad, to be honest. And then the next day, my friend messaged me. She was like, oh, I watched the Easter production and I watched the Christmas one and the Christmas one from the year before. And I've listened to all the podcasts and I'm interested in finding out more about God.
Wow,
so, yeah.
So good.
That's amazing. And for those of you who don't know, Jess is one of our young people, and it shows how something as simple as inviting people online to watch something can have such a great impact, and the fact that she watched so many more things is amazing.
Yeah, really well done to you, Jess. That was so good. And you know, we want to encourage all of you watching now. You can do exactly what Jess did on Easter Sunday. You can share that. So if you're watching on our Church Online platform, there should be a little thing that says invite, and you can easily text it to friends. You can send it in your WhatsApp family groups or whatever WhatsApp groups that you are a part of. Let's face it, we're all part of WhatsApp groups in some shape or another. And if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, it's really easy to share the link, to share it on a post. You can start a watch party on Facebook if you know how to do that. We want to encourage you to put this link out to lots of friends and family. It's a really easy way for people to attend church and to get involved. And it's, you know, from the safety of their own home, It's a really simple way to invite people.
And what I think is great about this season as well is normally inviting people to church, it's got to be people who can physically get here from a nearby distance as well. But with this, you can send friends and family wherever they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I've got friends and family watching. I know some friends of mine up in Bootle, where I was born and raised, they're watching this morning. Hello, Mark, Izzy and Dan. Nice to see you guys. Let's see who's watching in the comments and where people are watching from.
Yes, so we've got many places in the country. We've got Dorset, we've got Leeds, we've got Cornwall, and someone has nicely obliged to my beverage request. Someone said they've got coffee with them this morning, kicking their day off with some coffee as well.
Nice. Someone watching from Cirencester. Is it Cirencester or Cirencester? I don't know how to say that. Cirencester?
I think it's Cirencester.
Cirencester. We've got someone watching from there. We've got people all over the place on Facebook watching. I'm just trying to see.
We've got someone from Australia.
Wow, someone saying hello
Yes.
from Dubai as well. I was there a
Amazing.
couple of months ago. I'm sure it is nice and warm there. Lots of people making comments on my shirt,
I know, I've seen that. Love the shirt, Andy.
which
Someone has said
has
here.
become a theme of the live streams, which I'm not that keen on.
I would even go as far as to say this might be a highlight of people's lockdowns to see
Wow.
what shirt you're wearing each Sunday.
Then we are in a very, very difficult place if that's people's highlight of the week of my shirt. These are all shirts I've worn live in the flesh when we've been in the room on a Sunday. So I don't understand why there's such a fandom about my shirts.
It's just taken people a while to appreciate the beauty of your shirts.
Yeah,
That's all it
absolutely.
is.
Absolutely. We hope you enjoy the service. We're going to be continuing our Bigger Than series. We're going to join you on the stage in a few moments' time. So make sure you go to the toilet so you don't miss anything. Make sure you grab a nice cup of tea or coffee or orange juice. And make sure that you can be as engaged as possible. We want to encourage you to watch this on the biggest screen available in your house.
Yes, so we will see you shortly. welcome to Lifecentral Church. We're so glad that you could join us today. My name is Beth.
And my name is Andy. And normally we are one church in 3 locations in Halesowen, Hagley and Raleigh, and partnering with our lovely church in Durham as well. But today, as we have been for 6 weeks now, we are one church in many, many different locations. So welcome. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to you. We're so pleased that you can join us from your living room or your kitchen or your back garden, wherever you are watching this live stream from today. We're really, really pleased that you could be with us. Now, we are continuing our series on Bigger Than, and this week we are opening up God is bigger than our fears. So what we thought we would do is we would ask a bunch of people to tell us whether they have any weird fears or phobias. And here is that collection of people telling you their strange fears and phobias. Have a look.
Hey, I know this is going to sound really crazy to you, but I've got this really irrational fear of spontaneously combusting. All because my brother, when I was young, had this album cover by Pink Floyd.
Do you mean this one?
That one!
So when you go and buy something big from a shop, say a kettle or something, it comes in polystyrene packaging as you're getting it out. When you're getting it out, it freaks me out. It's like squeaky, does my head in. That's one of my fears.
So my phobia is the phobia of planes. There is just something about a plane that terrifies me, and I don't even think I could go and touch one. They just scare me.
Well, actually, I'm really terrified of rats. It's the tails. I can't get past them. They're the worst bit. I mean, obviously, the rest of the rat is scary as well, but yeah.
Përshëndetje, unë jam Suada, frika ime janë insektet.
Beards, big beards freak me out, and dead fish are horrible.
My fear is just slightly weird. So I have a fear of holes, like crumpets, honeycomb. Makes me itch even thinking about it.
I love eggs, but I do have a very strange phobia of eggshell. I love cooking with eggs and I love eating eggs, but those little pieces, not so much. If I eat a piece of those, it will actually make me vomit.
I have a fear of muscle cramps because they are so stressful and so painful, and your body is just freaking out and it doesn't know what to do.
I'm scared of very girly girls because they act like they're some kind of different species to us, and it makes me feel really scared.
One of my biggest fears, been a fear of mine ever since I was little, is Miss Piggy from the Muppets. Never actually seen the Muppets, but I've always been terrified of her.
Përshëndetje Lifecentral, unë jam Jetoni. Frika ime më e madhe është balta në fund të liçeneve.
So I have a phobia of seagulls. Really don't like them. They hunt in packs. They seem to target me. And earlier today, when I went on my daily walk, this happened.
Ooh, I don't like them.
Absolutely brilliant.
I particularly enjoyed the evidence there at the end of the video there for Julie. But
good.
We hope you enjoyed.
Before you carry on, Beth, I should share that I've got a weird fear and a phobia.
Okay.
I'm really freaked out by belly buttons.
Would you like to explain that fear?
I don't know. It just freaks me out. Like, I can't go near my own belly button. The thought of anyone else's belly button knocks me sick. You know, like when you're abroad and people are showing off like their pierced belly buttons, and it's like, like it honestly is disgusting. I think it comes from when I was a kid. My mum told me that if I press my belly button, my legs will fall off.
I mean, that might be where it came from. Yeah.
I might need some counselling from it, but yeah, it freaks me out. Please don't show me your belly buttons. I don't want any like Facebook messages of people's belly buttons. That will just make me feel sick.
Oh, well, at least now you guys know one of Andy's weird fears, which is belly buttons. We're getting to know Andy very well this morning, but we hope you enjoyed that little compilation of different fears and phobias. But we haven't just got one video treat for you guys today. We have got 2 video treats as well. So there has been a bit of a challenge that's been really popular in the past couple of years called the What's in the Box Challenge. Now, Jack and Jess Smith, who are part of our Halesowen location, have put together a video of this challenge. If you're not familiar with this challenge, essentially Jack has gathered together different items and put them in a box where Jess can't see what they are. She's put her hands in and guess what's inside. It's pretty hilarious. Take a look.
There you go. Maybe I should start a little business making these little blindfolds. Good grief. Okay, I'm going for it. But what is that? What if it's a slug? What is it? It feels like eyeballs. What is it?
To have a good feel.
I don't want to have a good feel. Wait a minute. It just popped. Is it spaghetti?
Yeah.
What is that?
You have to touch it.
Yeah, I know I have to touch it, but is anything alive?
You have to touch it.
What on earth? Is it like a grape bunch? Oh. Those annoying branches in the garden.
Yeah. This is the one that I feel a bit bad about.
What is it? What is in there? Oh, what is it? I don't want to know. Oh, I've just stabbed something. It's alive. Have I just killed something? I feel like it's moved. It's moved from the bowl. It's moving me. Ah! Is that me? What is it? What is it? I don't like this one. I've just got to do it, haven't I?
Yeah.
I've just got to do it. No, Jack, I don't want to. Can you not just tell me if it's alive?
Do you want me to tell you what it is?
No. What is it?
It's a big clump of cobwebs from the shed.
Oh, but there might be thingies in that. There might be real spiders in that.
Don't worry.
They lay eggs. Jack, that needs to get out of the house before it lays eggs. Really, Jack, if that's what it is, you need to get it out of the house. Was it really?
Yeah.
What is on my finger? Like I stabbed something and it's on me. What is that? Is that a part of a spider?
No.
I think it is.
No, there wasn't any spiders in there. Oh.
Can I look at it?
Yeah, you don't want to look at it.
Oh, Jack, that is horrible.
At home or wherever you're watching, but I love that video. I also love that Jess assumes that every single one is alive as well.
Yeah, and please pray for Jack. He's probably still in trouble off the back of that video. But you know, the thing about that video was it's like the fear of the unknown. You're putting your hand in a box and you don't know what it is, and that can be quite fearful. And I think for so many of us in this season, what we fear is the unknown. There's so many uncertainties around how long will lockdown last and all this kind of stuff. And fear of the unknown can be a big deal for us. And you know, what we do know and what we believe is what is said in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 8. And it says this, that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. You see, God is good and he is always good, and nothing changes about God. We can be certain of who God is and that he loves us. And you know, we are going to spend some time singing and worshiping together. We're going to sing a song that's called Pray, and it's all about asking God's kingdom to come on earth, and what God wants to happen in heaven would happen here on earth. And this song is pre-recorded from before when we were in lockdown, which is why there's more people on stage. It is pre-recorded, but we want to encourage you to engage with this song and engage with this worship like it's live, like it's in your living room. We want to encourage you to do what's comfortable and to really lean into this song and this time of worship. So let's sing together the song Pray.
Come on, let's sing together. High above, hallowed be your name. Reveal to us again who you are. All things are possible, God of the miracle. Oh, let your will be done. Oh, we sing, we pray for heaven today. Your kingdom here on yours is the kingdom. Yours is the kingdom. The power and glory. Now and forever. Amen. Amen. We sing.
Hey everybody, you are really welcome. It's so good to connect with you wherever we are connecting with you from. Thank you for being a part of Lifecentral Church and our online service. It is so good just to connect with you in your houses, in your homes. You know, over these last 5 weeks that we've been in lockdown, you know, there's been a lot of talk about fear. And I don't know about you, but I don't know how many of you have actually known some fear in your lives over these last 5 weeks or so. Maybe you've had that fear when you looked in the mirror at your hair. Or maybe you've had that fear when that person in your family has come towards you with the scissors or the clippers and they're going to cut your hair. Or maybe you're the person that's been asked to cut your loved one's hair, and that fear. But you know, it's almost like this conversation around fear and faith as well. Almost like they're two opposite things. Like either I've got fear or I've got faith. And if I'm a follower of Jesus, how can I have fear when I say that I've got faith? And if I'm not a follower of Jesus, what difference does faith make to the fear that I'm in? And you know, Jesus spoke a lot about fear. And he said often, do not be afraid. But he didn't say do not be afraid because there was nothing to be afraid about. The same that he often said, do not worry, but he never said do not worry about because there's nothing to worry about. He said, hey, you don't have to worry despite the fact that there's something to worry about. You don't have to have the fear or live in fear or be gripped by fear despite that at times there is something to be fearful about. You know, this week I got my message all sorted out, all in place and everything. And then I got all the kind of words that I wanted to use together. And then I listened to somebody else's talk, a very famous guy from a big church in America, and he got like all the same points that I got, the same illustrations and everything. But that's okay, because God's bigger than me and he's certainly bigger than him as well. And this is our theme that we're going to look at today. God is bigger than our fears. God is bigger than our fears. And you know, there's a lot of stories in the Bible about storms. And let's face it, guys, we are in a perfect storm right now, aren't we? This coronavirus pandemic, it's a perfect storm. Physical, relational, financial, social. We're in this storm together. And I want to read you one of the most famous storm stories from the life of Jesus. It's in Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 to 33. I want to read this to you. And some of you will know this story really well, and you'll switch off a little bit because you'll think, oh yeah, I know what he's going to say. Hey, I don't think you do know what I'm going to say, because do you know what? Fear at the moment has a whole different way of appearing in our lives. And I think God wants to speak directly into your life this morning, whether you're a Christian or whether you're not. So here's the story. It says this: immediately, Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there alone, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and they cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid. Tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. You have little faith, he said. Here's that thing again, faith and fear. Why did you doubt? And when they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, truly, you are the Son of God. 5 things I want to say and share with you today. Number 1, fear is part of what it means to be human. Fear is part of what it means to be human. You know, fear is a self-correcting mechanism. It's like we anticipate something that's going to happen and our body reacts and responds. And when you have fear, your hormones and your mood and your heart pounds and the adrenaline comes and you sweat or your pupils alter. In fact, research says that some people have a predisposition to having more fear or more anxiety than other people. It suggests that because they have a certain gene, and the gene is SLC6A4. And some of you are already thinking, do I have that gene? Do I have that one? But you know, fear often feels like you're in the middle of a storm. And my inspiration for this message comes from our friends in Albania. We have a church out there in Albania. We love you guys so much. I know some of you will be connecting in with us. But you know, the Albanian word for fear is freak. Freak. And now I know they spell it differently to us. But when I thought that, I said, do you know what? At times, I want to freak out. At this point, do I dance? No, okay. I don't know about you, but I've felt lots of times in this last 5 weeks like I've wanted to freak out, you know, and maybe you felt like that. Maybe you're a parent at home with your kids and it's been 5 weeks and you want to freak out. Maybe you're someone and you're thinking, hey, maybe you've been furloughed from your job and you're not sure whether you'll have a job to go back to. And at times you felt like you're in a storm and you wanted to freak out. Or maybe, you know, you're an employer. You know, I'm a pastor of a church here. We've got a staff team. We've got a church. And, you know, there have been moments when I've thought about the future and what's happening here and what could happen. And I've wanted to freak out. You know, we as a church, we exist. And we are only able to do what we do through the provision of God, through the generosity of his people. And so as we've looked at this whole situation, now our 6th week without gathering and what will happen with offerings and finance. And there's been moments when you feel like that freak out grabs hold of you. And I understand all of that. But you know, God understands that as well. And here's the amazing thing that I want you to pick up today. God does not slap you on the wrist. God holds you by the hand. When you freak out, guys, God doesn't slap you on the wrist. God holds you by the hand. Now, some of us will say, I don't do fear. You guys all talking about fear. I don't do fear. Really? Maybe you just hide your fear a little bit better than the rest of us. But you know, Jesus actually dismissed everyone and chose to be alone during that night. I wonder how many of us actually freak out by the whole thought of being alone. In fact, in lockdown, it shows us, doesn't it, who are the introverts and who are the extroverts. Take a look.
I don't know how I'm going to do this. I need attention from others. Welcome to my paradise. Half marathon in a couple weeks, not happening. I have reservations for weeks. To top it all off, I was going to go to the Carly Rae Jepsen concert. Call me maybe, call me later, I guess. Only thing I have is sometime next few weeks I was going to go to one of those coffee shops with a bunch of cats in it, but I'll stay here. I'm going to lose my mind. What are we doing tonight? We got to think of something new. What do you want to do tonight? Yeah, I was thinking I might just have like a me night. What the heck is a me night? I'm the only person you've been around for like 3 weeks. Yeah, and it's still too much. Oh my god. Gosh, I missed the club. Can't wait to hit it again, man. I miss the club. I can't go eat alone at the sandwich shop anymore. Hey!
Hey, man.
What's going on?
Working. Have a good one.
Want a beer or anything? Dude, okay, I'm planning some virtual hangouts. They're actually pretty fun. Things are looking up. So, Oh shoot, he's gonna invite me. He's gonna invite me. I gotta think of something. Think of something. You should join. Do you want to join? Tomorrow night? I can't. Yeah, I have plans to watch military dads returning home videos. And just be sad. 4 more weeks of lockdown.
So funny. I don't know which one you recognize or you identify with. Maybe in the chat right now, you want to just out somebody, as it were, you know, say, hey, yeah, I'm in this home with definitely an extrovert or with an introvert. But you know, we all have different things that affect us, don't we? And when it comes to fear, we're very different. We're wired differently. And like you saw right at the start of our service with Jack and Jess, wasn't that brilliant? We'll put that out on social media, I'm sure. And we all have different things in the box that for us are things that cause us to freak out. And for other people, it's no big deal. In fact, I remember many years ago, I was in Bulgaria on a trip. We've been involved with Bulgaria for nearly 30 years now. Love that country, love that people. And I was there, and I was with another guy from the church, and we were doing a youth event, and we were in a room, and there were 3 beds. And so the one guy was here, I was in the middle, and then another Bulgarian guy, a friend of mine, was the other side. And so I was in the middle, and over my head was an open pipe. And it was so hot, it was in summertime, and so there was no sheets on the bed, and we were just really hot. And apparently, as I slept through that night, cockroaches all came out of the pipe, dropped out of the pipe onto my stomach, and all walked over my stomach during the whole evening. I was totally oblivious to it until in the morning when the Bulgarian friend of mine said, you had cockroaches on you. That's a Bulgarian accent, by the way, there. Okay, not very good one. And I said, what do you mean I had cockroaches on me? And he said, I watched and you had cockroaches all over me. And I said, why didn't you do anything about it? And he said, I thought he must like cockroaches. You know, and that might freak you out, okay? It didn't really freak me out, but you know, there are some things that come, and there are those kind of fears that freak us out. And you know, the disciples were fearful so many times in this story. Our view of the story is that it's like a perfectly tranquil, calm lake, and the boat's on the lake, and Jesus walks on the calm lake and calls Peter out of the boat, and then Peter walks, and then the storm comes. That's not what happens. They were in a storm the whole of the night. And the reality is they did not know when that storm was going to go. And we don't know how long we're going to be in this storm, and that's really tough. Then in the middle of that storm, they saw Jesus in a new way. They'd not seen Jesus like that before, and that terrified them. And guys, we are seeing and experiencing things emotionally and and physically that we've never seen or experienced before, and that can cause us to freak out. And then only Peter gets out of the boat. The others are too fearful. You know, but that kind of says to me, you know, it's a little bit like we've got so many people who are out the boat and serving us on the front line right now. And you are absolute heroes, whether you're NHS, whether you're social care, whether you are a shopkeeper, whether you are a bus driver, or you take our bins away. If you're out on the front line, you are heroes. And I know that you will be freaked out at times. But all of those who are staying at home, and you know, we get freaked out as well. And we're trying to protect the NHS and save lives, and you're heroes too. Fear affects every single one of us. And then Peter starts sinking and is gripped with fear. It's okay to freak out because God is bigger than our fears. Guys, it's okay to freak out because God is bigger than our fears. Number 2, fear is a chance to choose. Many people look at this story and they say, hey, Peter, why are you moaning? You kind of chose to get out of the boat. But they were all in the storm. They were all gripped by fear. And maybe today you're saying, hey, but I'm a Christian. You know, I'm a follower of Jesus. Doesn't that mean I've got a get out of storms card? Unfortunately, it doesn't. You've got to remember that Jesus told them to go into that storm. In another story, the other famous storm story, he tells them to get in a boat. He gets in a boat with them. They go out onto the sea. The storm nearly drowns them all. And Jesus is asleep in the boat, and he stands up and he stills the storm and he says, peace, be still. But here's the reality. We don't get to choose the storm, but in the storm, we do get to choose. We don't get to choose the storm, but in the storm, we do get to choose. We get to choose whether to live or whether just to visit fear. I mentioned this last week. You know, fear is a place that we all visit, but we can choose whether we're going to live there or not. I visited fear many times over the last 5 weeks. In fact, it comes back. It's kind of like waves. And in that moment, I don't get to choose the storm. I do get to choose what I do in the storm. Am I going to live here or am I going to just visit here? You see, many of us, I think at the moment, we're like moving into freak out house. You know, we've like moved into this place of being perpetually freaked out. It's like I've changed my address. You know, my email is now leon.evans@freakedout.com. That's a choice. You do not have to choose to live in fear. Just let fear be a place you visit and then you pull away again. Secondly, we choose to step up rather than to be taken down. And I love this little verse in Psalm 61 of verse 2. And from the New King James Version, it says this. Hopefully it's going to come up. There it is. From the end of the earth, I will cry to you. When my heart is overwhelmed. In other words, when I'm freaking out, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. When I'm freaked out, when you as a parent are freaked out, when you as a husband or a wife, or when you're on your own in that house in lockdown, maybe you're an elderly person or you've got elderly relatives. Maybe there's someone in your family that you're anxious about. In that moment when you feel freaked out, when you feel overwhelmed, David says, then lead me. I'm going to choose to go to the rock that is higher than I. On that trip to Bulgaria, I'm sure it was the same one. Me and a buddy of mine that was with me in that cockroach incident, we were invited by another Bulgarian guide to go to his favorite place to swim. And it was a couple of hours up the coast towards the Romanian border. And so we got up about 4 a.m, I think, and drove up. And we had to be there by about 6 or 6:30, apparently. Me and my friend, we're not particularly strong swimmers or not particularly athletic. I know that's hard for you to imagine, but we're not. And this other young guy was. So there was a little bit of bravado. Anyway, we got there and it was down this big cliff, and we scrambled down the cliff, and then we swam in the sea. And it was really choppy, and the other young, fit Bulgarian guy was away, and me and my friend, we thought we were going to die. Like, we are going to drown. This is going to be the end of our lives. And then eventually we found a little bit of a rock, and we literally just grabbed onto the rock, and we held onto it, trying to look cool, but not looking cool at all. And you know, there's a choice when you are overwhelmed by fear. You can let the fear take you down, or you can look for the rock that is higher than you. You got to choose when you are freaked out. Are you going to let that take you down, or are you going to choose to move up? It's okay to freak out because God is bigger than our fears. And number 3, fear is ultimately linked to trust. I want to say something. God doesn't want us to try harder. He wants us to trust deeper. Guys, in this period that we're in, and whether you're a follower of Jesus or not, I think God is speaking to you and to every single one of us. He's speaking to me as a leader. It's not about me trying harder. It's about trusting deeper in the middle of the storm. In verse 28, Jesus invites Peter to trust him in the middle of the storm, to get out of the boat. Peter puts his trust in Jesus, and the disciples put their trust in planks of wood. So who's the crazy one? You see, where we put our trust reveals how we think about God. And it reveals the level that we're prepared to put our trust in God, reveals how big God is to us. Do we have a bigger than God, or do we have a smaller than God? You see, the fear of God is the one fear that dispels all other fears. I want to read a quote to you. Now, this is quite a deep quote, okay? I love it, but it takes a little bit of thinking about. It's a guy called Brennan Manning. Now, for some of you who are older, it's not Bernard Manning, all right? That's a whole different thing, okay? Some of you who are younger don't have a clue. Do not Google that name, all right? But this is Brennan Manning, and he says this: the brooding pessimism that the good news of God's love is simply wishful thinking weaves a thin membrane of distrust that keeps us in a chronic state of anxiety. The heart converted from mistrust to trust in the irreversible forgiveness of Jesus Christ is redeemed from the corrosive power of fear. That's an incredible quote. How do we know we have a small view of God? We have a small view of God when you constantly live in freak out house. Not just when you visit, we all visit, but when you live there all the time. That reveals that maybe you have a small view of God. You have a small view of God if you're afraid to share and to invite others and to share your love of Jesus to others. I was so encouraged listening to Jess in the pre-service, how she has a big view of God that she invites her mates to come and to engage with church. And guys, can I just say, if you're a follower of Jesus, there's never been a season like this for inviting people to find out more about who Jesus is. And it will show us and it will reveal how big a view of God we have, whether we invite others or not. Maybe in this season, you reveal that you've got a big view of God and you trust God if you can be generous financially. And maybe we can say, well, I want to trust him. I want to trust him. Well, you can trust him. But there's a rock that is higher than you. And so when we are overwhelmed by fear, we want to make sure that we can trust him and we place our lives into his hands. We can trust him to help us navigate this storm, to build a firewall in our hearts and our minds. It's okay to freak out because God is bigger than our fears. Listen, you can trust him in the middle of your storm.
You prepare for it. But you can't control it. And that's a sobering thought. In calm water, it's easy to believe that you're the master of your destiny. You know, I've got this. I've taken on squalls before. Bring it on. But in a storm, the ocean is a powerful beast. Each failed attempt to gain ultimate control gradually gives way to desperation, exhaustion, and fear. To control the storm, I'd have to be God. All powerful, all seeing, all-knowing. I'm none of those things. But Jesus is. What if I just let him be God? And me? All trusting.
You know, if you're struggling just to trust him right now, if you're struggling to just release that person or that situation to him, if you have that fear and you're freaked out, do you know what? You're human. You're absolutely human. And God won't slap you on the wrist. He'll take you by the hand. And I'm going to give you an opportunity a little bit later to maybe acknowledge that and even right where you are in your home to receive some prayer from someone online. So that you can maybe just again choose that, hey, I might visit this place, but I'm not going to live here. It might take me down, but it's not going to take me down because I'm going to go for the rock that is higher than I, and I'm going to trust him with my one and only life. Number 4, the fourth thing I want to share is this: fear and growth go hand in hand. Fear of getting out of the boat could have kept Peter in the boat. And actually it kept the disciples in the boat, the others. But you know that Peter was the only one that got out of the boat. He was the only one that got wet. But he was the only one who grew. He was the only one who, when he got back into the boat afterwards, after Jesus had lifted him up, he said, guys, you'll never guess what happened. It was amazing. And his faith grew and his life grew. And his whole idea of who he was and who Jesus was grew. He had a bigger than view of God because he got out of the boat. And during this perfect storm that we're in, during lockdown, is God calling you to grow? Hey, maybe if you're not a follower of Jesus yet, maybe you're tuned in because someone's invited you, or you've just been scrolling on Facebook and you've hit on us and you're with us now for this next 3 to 6 seconds, I don't know. But hey, maybe you could take a step out of the boat as well. You know, we're going to do something on Monday night, and the first time we've ever done it like this. We do something at this church called the Alpha Course. It's really popular. Hundreds of people have been through it. Many people that said that they were atheists. They didn't believe in God. You know, people that say that, oh, science has disproved God, and how can you believe in a God you can't see? And they were people like that, and they've been on the Alpha Course. And some of them have been really pleasantly surprised how much evidence there is for the existence of God. How much science is not an opposite to faith, but it sits alongside it. It's like two sides of the coin, saying and speaking into different issues. And if you've never been on an Alpha course, then we're going to run Alpha online this Monday evening. You can go to our website, lifecentralchurch.org.uk, and you can register online. It's going to run for an hour for the next 5 or 6 Monday nights, and you'll have a little video, and we'll run it through Zoom, and you have a little video, and then there'll be some conversation and some chat with some other people. You are really welcome. And I'd encourage you, if you are a Christian, maybe to invite people to Alpha Online, and there'll be some pop-ups on the platform that you're watching this on a little bit later. But you know, maybe you are a believer right now. This is a season for you, even in your fear, to say, in my fear, I'm not going to choose to let it take me down. I'm going to reach for the rock that is higher than I, and I'm not going to let freak out be the place that defines me, but I'm actually going to grow. I'm going to get out of the boat and I'm going to grow. Because here's the thing, guys, to live without risk is to risk not living. To live without risk is to risk not living. It's okay to freak out because God is bigger than our fears. And the final thing I want to say is this: fear makes you pray really good prayers. You see, Peter is walking on the water, and it says when he saw the wind, he was afraid and beginning to sink. Now, the wind and the waves were always there. They were in the storm the whole night. But somehow in that moment, that even though the storm was there, he was walking on the water. And then in that moment, he recognized, oh, hang on a minute. There is the wind, and there are the waves, and there is the storm, and this is happening, and I might get coronavirus, and people near me might get coronavirus, and I might lose my job, and this might happen, and this could happen, and the other could happen. And all of a sudden, he freaked out, and it took him down. Peter the rock sank like a stone. You know the feeling? I know I do. In my head, that moment when I'm feeling all right, then all of a sudden something happens and you freak out and you begin to sink. But at that point of desperation, Peter prays a really, really good prayer. And he just simply says this: Lord, save me. Guys, I don't know how long you've been a Christian or whether you are a Christian, but I'll tell you what, maybe we need to keep praying this kind of simple, desperate, authentic prayers. Jesus, save me. Jesus, help me. Jesus, would you move? And when you pray good prayers like that, amazing things can happen. You see, Jesus could have stilled the storm, and sometimes he does, but sometimes he lets the storm rage and he stills us. And in that moment, when freak out seems to want to overwhelm us, we see that there is a God who is bigger than our fears. We choose not to live in freak out, but only to visit us. And we choose to not let freak out take us down, but we reach up for the rock that is higher than I. Last week I said that struggle is a gift to be opened. And in the middle of fear, in the middle of the storm, you can open a gift. And here it is: I'm not in control. I'm not in charge. I need Jesus. I need the rock that is higher than I. It's okay to freak out because God is bigger than our fears. Maybe you're saying, hey, I'm freaking out right now. Maybe you're saying, I feel like I'm at the end of my rope. I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I'm sinking. What do I do? Well, you let go of the idea that you can do anything, and you put your hope and your trust in the one who is immovable and the one who is the rock that is higher than you. Let me tell you a story. About 100 years ago, off the coast of Cornwall, a sailing ship was in a storm and it crashed on the rocks, and many sailors were lost. And there was a 15-year-old lad, a sailor, and he was thrown into the sea. And as he tried to swim to save his life, he found a rock and he grabbed himself onto the rock and he lifted himself out of the sea and he held onto that rock that was sticking up in the sea just off the coast. And he held onto that the whole of the night, and he was rescued in the morning. And the reporter said to him, "Hey, you must have been so frightened. You must have been terrified all night long." This is what he said. I trembled the whole of the night. But then he said this, "But the rock didn't tremble once." I trembled all night long, but the rock never trembled once. And you know what, guys? The rock is not a place. The rock is a person, and his name is Jesus. And right now, I want to give you an opportunity. If you don't know Jesus, if you've never accepted him, or maybe you did used to know him and you stopped trusting him right now, then I want to pray for you right now in this moment. And right on the platform, especially if you're on church online, but if you're on any of our other platforms, our online pastors are now going to post something up in front of you. And if you see a little hand that says, "I want to respond," then I want to invite you to click that hand right now as I pray for you. And I'm going to ask Jesus. I'm going to ask Jesus to come into your life, maybe for the first time, or to or to bring you back to that relationship with him. And you may be in fear. You may be freaking out right now. But you can know the rock that is higher than you. So if that's you, I want to ask you to respond right now as I pray for you. Jesus, I want to pray for anybody watching this that right now in that moment is want to say, "I want to choose the rock that is higher than I. I want to put my hope and my trust in Jesus Christ." And you can still the storm, and sometimes you do. But even if you don't, you will always still us. And so, Lord, I pray that there will be people right now who will be responding to this invitation to put their hope and their faith and their trust in you, Jesus, the one who created, the one who creates, the one who sustains, the one who is the rock higher than I. Jesus, I pray that they would know your presence and your spirit in Jesus' name. Amen. You know, if you prayed that prayer, if you responded, we would love to track with you. You can go to the Next Steps card on our website, or we'd love you to think about coming to Alpha with us online on Monday evening. But I want to finish with something very, very special for all of you. And whether you're a believer or whether you're not, I hope that the next 4 or 5 minutes really brings the presence of God into your home in an unbelievable way. You know, Fanny Crosby was a famous hymn writer of the 1800s. In fact, she wrote over 8,000 hymns and songs. And the amazing thing was that she was virtually blind the whole of her life. Just after birth, she was blind and the whole of her life. And she wrote 8,000 incredible songs, many of which are very famous. One of her lesser known songs was a song called "Peace Be Still." And some of our team have taken that song, and Chris Eaton has written a song, and his wife Abby is singing it, and our guys Russ and Sam have put images and filmed it, and from their homes they've created this next 4 minutes, which I think is absolute blessing. And the song kind of brings together these two stories of the storm, the one with Jesus in the boat where he says, "Peace be still," and the one where he's walking on the water. And it puts these two stories together, and it brings this idea that, you know what, Jesus can still the storm. But even if he does not, he will always still us if we are connected to him. So in these next 4 minutes, I'm going to pray that you will experience the presence and the peace of Jesus in your home. And even if you feel freaked out, it's okay, because God is bigger than our fears. Here's "Peace Be Still."
Oh, the deep in midnight darkness, dangers wild on every hand, with the winds and waves all crashing, toils a lonely fisherman. then plaintive cry. Drop the oars, the boat is sinking, but the Lord they love is nigh. He who watches from the distance quickly comes, his own to save. Hushes winds to calm submission, quells the storm they could not brave. On the deep they see him walking, then the pure and sacred thrill of his voice amidst the tempest, calmly saying, "Peace be still, peace be still, peace be still." Heart of mine, oh cease thy striving, trust in him, thy dearest friend. Though the storms of life will gather, he will keep thee till the end. When the waves are wildly breaking, and my soul with terrors fill, thou shalt hear like sweetest music, Jesus saying, "Peace be still, peace be still, peace be still, peace be still. He is saying, "Peace be still."
It's been an absolute honor and privilege just to pray for you and your family right now. And I just want, as I pray, maybe if you have got your family, and I know some people are watching it with their kids there as well, which is great. Why don't you just grab them just for a moment, okay? You don't have to socially distance from people in your own house. Just grab them for a moment. And you just pray for one another as I pray for you. And if you don't know Jesus and you haven't given your life to him, it's not too late for you to do that. We would love you to do that this morning. Why don't you allow me just to pray for you and just to bless you today. Jesus, I want to pray for every single person watching this right now, for whoever is in their home, that God, that they would know your presence and your peace. Jesus, I do pray that you'd still the storm. But Lord, if you don't, would you still them? And when they freak out, may they know that there is a rock that is higher than them. And when they feel like they're drowning, God, may they know that in that moment they can discover a God who is bigger than their fears. And so Lord, I pray for peace. I pray for peace for parents. I pray for peace for kids, young people, teenagers thinking about exams and what will happen in the future. For people who are concerned about their jobs, for people who are concerned about their loved ones who are working on the front line, for people who are concerned about elderly parents or vulnerable people. Jesus, I pray for peace. We don't have to live in freak out. We might visit it, but we don't have to live there. So Jesus, I want to pray for your peace in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Amen. You know, it's okay to freak out because God is bigger than our fears. It's okay to freak out because God is the rock that is higher than I. It's okay to freak out, you know, because when I am weak, the Bible says, then he is strong. It's okay to freak out because we may be pressed, but we're not crushed. We may be perplexed, but we're not in despair. We may be persecuted, but we're not abandoned. We may be struck down, but we are not destroyed. So we don't have to live in freak out any longer. We can choose in the middle of the storm to put our faith and our trust in him. Why? Because he is the rock that is higher than us, and he never trembles. So we are going to sing an incredible hymn together as we close. And as Andy said earlier on, I want to invite you to turn the volume up and to sing this out as Vicky and the guys lead us, pre-recorded. But hey, let's make this real and alive and make it a declaration of our trust in Christ alone.
Christ alone, my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace, where fears are still. My all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand. life's first cry to final breath. Jesus commands my destiny. No power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand till he returns or calls me home. Here in the power of Christ I stand. No power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand till he returns or calls me home. Here in the power of Christ I stand. Here in the power of Christ I stand.
God, we just thank you that you are our rock that never trembles. We just pray for those who feel like they might have been gripped by fear or worry, that you would give them peace today, that you would be their rock. And may each of us, as we go on with our days and our weeks and our lives, never forget who to turn to and who to cling to. Amen.
Amen. Amen. You know, I want to encourage you, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, or you're watching this on demand, in the video description there's a link there. You can go to our next steps if you want to connect with us further, if you want to join a connect group, if you want to if you've prayed that prayer to give your life to Jesus, one of our team would love to get in contact with you. We're not going to sell your details on to anybody. We just want to help you and give you some resources in following Jesus. If you want to sign up for Alpha, that link is below as well. You can do some prayer requests. We would love to hear your praise reports as well. If God has answered prayers in this season, if you've got something to be thankful for, if you go to that prayer link, you can share your stories with us. We would love to hear your stories of answered prayer in this season. Also, if you want to give financially into the life of Life Central, then you can do that via the link below, and there's a QR code just come up on the screen there that you can scan and you can give. And we're going to hear in the post-service discussion, we're going to hear from Jo Gregory, who's our Hagley location leader, but she's been overseeing our community outreach stuff that we've been doing, and it has been phenomenal. We would love you to stick around to hear that. What else are we going to be doing in the post-service hangout?
Yes, so we are going to be engaging with you guys in the comments. We're going to be chatting about what we've heard this morning, our highlights and things that have moved us as well. So we'd love you to come join me and Andy after the service. When we wrap up here, there'll be a 2-minute countdown, so it's just enough time for you to go quickly grab yourself a drink. If you've got a portable device like an iPad, you might want to take it with you so you don't miss anything. But we would love you to join us for the post-church hangout.
Great. We will see you in 2 minutes. Have a great Sunday.
Well, hello, and welcome to our post-service hangout. We're glad you could join us this morning.
Yeah, and just a reminder, we're sitting close because we're in the same household. We are living, Beth is living with me and Laura. And speaking of that, like introvert, extrovert thing that appeared in the service, where would you put yourself on that
See,
barometer?
I feel like I'm a weird fluctuation where sometimes I'm sitting in your house going, I really want to play a game. I hope they want to play a game. I really want to play a game right now. Then other times I'm like, oh, I'm living in the lap of luxury, reading by myself for hours. So I feel I swing both ways. How about?
I think I found I'm way more introverted than I ever thought I was. Like, I'm getting loads of energy from just not being around people and really like, you know, even being around you and Laura. Sorry, Laura. Like sometimes I'm like, just leave me alone. I just want to hang out on my own and not talk to anyone for a little bit. So I think I'm way more on the introvert side than I ever
learning new things about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was good seeing all the comments of like people going, "Oh my gosh, that is so me." and like other people going, yep, I just want to hang out with people, and like constantly setting up Zoom calls with people.
I know some people saying that they look forward to going to the shops, they can chat to the cashiers and other people, sort of a social distance in the queue, whereas others saying that even the people in their household were too many people.
Yeah.
So
we want to encourage you, if you are not yet a Christian and you're exploring faith, and you've really enjoyed these live streams and you want to explore and you've got lots of questions, then I want to encourage you to sign up for Alpha. It's available in the video description. It's available there as a link on Church Online as well. We'd love you to track through that. It's the first time we're doing it, so I can't tell you what it's going to be like, but I can tell you that the content of Alpha is excellent, and it's a phenomenal way to be able to ask questions about faith and explore that stuff. And Simon and the Alpha team are amazing at what they do.
Yes, they are. And in a little bit, we are going to be engaging with the comments on the 3 screens in front of us. So we'd love to hear what have your highlights of the service today been. What are things that have made you laugh or smile? What are things that have really stood out to you? We've had a lot of love for the song that Chris and Abby did for us, Peace Be Still. Lots of love for that on the chats already this morning. I personally enjoyed Leon's little dance.
Yeah.
I don't know about anyone else out there.
I mean, I couldn't say I enjoyed it. Probably endured it. Just to say on the song as well, I've just seen one of our online pastors comment saying that it's going to be released at 5:30 tomorrow on our Facebook page. So that song will be going out, so you'll be able to listen and watch on demand from 5:30 tomorrow.
Yes, that's great. Also, another highlight for me was watching Jess's reaction to the What's in the Box.
So good.
And it struck me, if you guys are at home and with your family, with your household, and are stuck for ideas of things to do, why not try the What's in the Box challenge yourselves? I think that'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, those videos coming up on Facebook will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and in terms of families, we know that many of you have children and young people, and we've had loads going on in our Next Gen for kids and youth. Do you want to maybe chat to us? What's been going on there?
Yeah, so every Sunday we put out, it's not those questions just yet, we're not coming to that, but every Sunday we put out an email with content for Gems and Adventurers, which is preschool. And there's some great content in there. I've been watching it this week, and it's really, really good. There's a great little video for you to watch, and some an activity for Gems and Adventurers, and then a little prayer that you can pray with your preschooler as well. We do the same for Explorers and Pioneers, which is 5 to 11-year-olds, primary school age essentially. Again, video content with some discussion questions and a prayer, and the same for our Excel guys, so year 7, 8 and 9. If you don't get those emails with that content, if you go to the link below your screen if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, or if you go to the Next Steps link that'll come up on Church Online, you can register to say, I want to receive kids and youth resources. We're sending those out every Sunday at 7 a.m. That email lands in your inbox. And, I want to encourage families, do whatever works for your household. I spoke to a few parents this week, and some of them were saying we all start and watch the live stream together, and then when it comes to the talk, the kids go off and watch their bits. And what was nice is I spoke to one family and they said, our kids, they call their friends who are also in Excel, and they do watch it together.
That's
and
such a good idea.
Discuss it together. I know, yeah. And then other families, they watch all the content together. Some families, they watch it like through the week. So one family I spoke to said they on a Sunday they all watch the live stream together, and then on Wednesday night when their teenage son is in crew hangouts, they watch the kids content with their kid who's in Explorers. Explorers and Pioneers. And basically it's like a little midweek church for both kids. So whatever works for you as a family, we just want to encourage you and resource you, and we're working on some conversations with parents about how to parent in this time, and sharing some stories there, and we're working on some conversations with some teachers to equip you on how to homeschool. So hopefully by the end of the week we should have some content out there for you to equip you in this season, which is great. And there are families watching this together, aren't there?
Yeah, like you said, families are doing this in all kinds of different ways, but we know that many of you are watching the Sunday morning service all together. And so we put together some different questions that might help you to discuss what has happened in the service, what Leon has been talking about together, and they should appear on the screen here. So these 3 questions are simply: what made you smile, what made you think, and what are you going to do? So getting you to think about what are the things that maybe you found funny or really made you smile, what are the things that really gripped you, that are really thought-provoking, and then what are you practically going to do in your life off the back of it?
Yeah, so you might want to screenshot that or take a picture of your TV. So if we can get it back on for a little second, because we want to encourage you to do that over lunch if you're watching as a family or as a couple, or you want to Zoom call somebody and talk through these questions. It's a really great way for you to just go a little bit deeper and just unpack what you've heard. I think the thing that made me smile the most today was definitely Leon's dancing.
And the great news is, because it's all online, you can go back and watch it as many times as you like.
Yeah, that should definitely be a meme.
Tech department.
Yeah.
That's your job now.
Yeah, let's get Leon on TikTok. Yes. Leon could be TikTok trending by the end of the day. I'm obsessed with TikTok. It's amazing. We're gonna welcome a special guest before I go into a TikTok wormhole. We're going to welcome Jo Gregory, who is our Hagley location pastor. But during this season, she's been really focusing on doing some support with the community. So, Jo, are you there? Nice to see you.
Hi, Andy. I'm here.
Good. How are you doing? How has lockdown been for you so far?
Yeah, I think in the first 4 weeks, I kind of found it difficult, lots of different emotions, starting with kind of shock and then a bit of fear, and kind of a deep sadness about not meeting up with friends and family. And particularly the Hagley guys, I find it really difficult not to be able to worship in Haybridge and worship in Halzowen, but I've kind of moved into a better place of acceptance now. And I'm kind of seeing what God is doing and starting to anticipate, new things, really. So, yeah, definitely in a better place now.
Good. That's good to hear, Jo. And Jo, what spoke to you the most this morning from the service?
I thought it was such a powerful service, just being able to talk about fear. And everybody I've spoken to, and I include myself, we're all struggling with different fear in different things, and just that thought, the truth that God is bigger than our fear, but also that He's in it with us, whether we're struggling with big fears or just, really personal stuff about friends and family, that God is bigger, but God is with us in the fear.
Yeah, it was so good. There was loads in today that really spoke to me as well. Jo, tell us what you've been doing since we've been in this whole coronavirus crisis. What's been your main level of responsibility?
Yeah, so just before we went into lockdown, we gave out hundreds and hundreds of community response cards because we kind of knew that people were going to be in a lot of need in our 3 locations. So we gave out hundreds of cards in Halzowen, Hagley and Rowley. And then it's been my job since then to get a volunteer team together so that we can meet what we promised. We promised on those cards that we would be able to help people with getting food, shopping and delivering food, food bank deliveries, befriending if people were really lonely and needed somebody to talk to. We also promised we would be able to pick up prescriptions, deliver them, and also if anybody needed help with walking dogs, stuff like that, we promised that we would be able to do that. So it's been my job to be able to get volunteers to be able to respond. Since then, the work has just really expanded. We've got about 45 volunteers who are all DBS, and we have done around 140 community responses in our 3 locations over these last few weeks. And we've had people ring up from Cornwall saying, I've got a friend who I know is alone, can you help them? We're partnering with a lot of other people now. So we partner with Dudley CVS and Black Country Food Bank. So we're a virtual hub for Halzowen and Quarry Bank. We're also partnering with James Morris, the MP, and Joe Roberts is the local councillor, and they're sending us people in need. so that we can help support those people. Hagley Parish Council are also sending people to us. And last week we had a GP in Helzowen who we put their cards in his medical centre, and now he's sending vulnerable people to us so that we can help them. The work has just grown phenomenally over these last few weeks.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so good. And Joe, how's it been received by people on the doorstep, members of the community who are receiving this support? How have they responded?
Yeah, it's just been amazing. Overwhelmingly, people are bowled over by what we're doing. You know, to be able to show kindness and care in this really difficult time has just touched people. And a couple of stories really stand out to me on that. One, in the first week, I took a phone call from a lady who was really distressed because she was the sole carer of her brother, who had mental and physical needs, and she was self-isolating, so she couldn't get any food to him. So she phoned us up, and we were able to get him a volunteer who has gone back to his house every week, delivering him food, and now they've actually become friends. They've got a really good rapport going. And she said to me on the phone, you know, I can't believe that you're doing this. Why are you doing it? And I just said, look, we're a group of Christians, and we want to be able to show the kindness and love of God in this time. And she said, oh, well, I used to have faith, but I lost my faith, you know, when my dad died many years ago. But what you're doing really shows me what real Christianity is, which was just an amazing response. And then last Thursday in the office, Amber was on reception. She took a call from a Helzowen lady who was absolutely distraught because she'd actually been referred by the GP. She got chronic arthritis. She couldn't go out. She had no friends and family. She didn't get on particularly well with people who lived near her. And she hadn't got food for herself, but also for her dog. And this dog was her world. So Amber took the call. She prayed with her, which was brilliant. I then phoned this lady and prayed again. And she was just in tears, really, because we were just showing her love. And since then, I've been able to get somebody to go around and walk the dog regularly. I've got somebody who's dropped off a food bank parcel, and she will do food delivery for her. I've got somebody who will ring her on a regular basis and just see how she's going. I've also got somebody who's going around tomorrow and is going to try and help her sort out the garden so the dog can go in the garden. So just that one lady, she got the full whammy. She just got all support that we could possibly have. But it was just brilliant to be able to help her.
Wow, it's so amazing, Joe. And it's great seeing on the comments, loads of people just really like lifted to hear what we're able to do in this season for the community. And Joe, you're doing a phenomenal job of coordinating that, and thank you so much for the hard work that you're putting in. But thank you as well to the volunteers that are given their time and putting themselves on the front line, even though they don't have to. They're choosing to in order to serve people. It's amazing. Joe, how can people get involved with this? If someone sat there going, I would love to do that, how can someone get involved?
Yeah, really simply, if you just go to the online Get Involved, the Next Steps card, there's a section on there that you just tick and you just say that you want to get involved, and that means that will come to me and we can look at, you know, I would have a conversation with you about when you're available and what you can do. I would just say that I do need people with DBSs, just because we are involved with going to elderly and vulnerable people's homes, and sometimes, you know, there is money being exchanged. So I do need a DBS. But yeah, please, if you want to get involved, just fill in the Next Steps card online.
Brill. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to encourage you, if you're watching, I want you to put the clapping emoji in the comment section for, like, let's give a clap for our volunteers who are giving up their time to do this, or some of our staff team who are coordinating it. I would love you to just put the clapping emoji in the comment section there if you can. Yeah, and if you want to get involved, if you want to do that, you can go to the Next Step link that's in the video description on Facebook and YouTube, and the Next Step, how we can stay connected there.
Yeah, and on that link as well, there's different links there for prayer and for giving and all sorts of different things. So they're kind of like the hubs for connecting outside of the Sunday mornings.
Yeah, fantastic. And you just saw it there on your screen, a little tutorial of what happens when you go to the website.
Wonderful.
So brilliant. And can we just give a shout out as well to our tech team? Doing such a good job of bringing this to us.
Yeah, because we've got our guys who are here who are sending everything out to you guys, making sure all the clips run, making sure you can hear everything. But we've also got the guys as well who are just making sure that everything's monitored and that you're getting all the links sent through and engaging with you guys. So we're so thankful for them.
Yeah, doing an amazing job. And we've got people editing videos for us, like remotely, and sending them, and we transferring them. People doing the kids and youth stuff, people doing the stuff that you've seen today. Just loads of people working really hard to make these services happen. So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you. Let's read out some of the comments. I mean, there's loads of clapping emojis now.
There's loads and loads of claps. Someone said they can't find the emojis, but they have verbally said that they are clapping, or typingly said, rather than verbally. I don't know. They typed it. They're clapping in their heart.
People are commenting on my tanning, and that's because I am a little bit browner, because this week I've been trying to take a break from my desk and take my iPad outside, and I've been working outside. Sunbathing and working. Sunbathing from home. And I spent a little bit of time in the garden. I'm sure there's lots of people who are watching this who are browner than they normally are because they've been spending a bit more time sunbathing. It is not from a bottle. Some people have accused me of fake tan.
Some people are accusing you on comments that it could be fake tan down here. We've also got some people as well who are saying that Leon could be TikTok famous. So maybe that's a side hustle.
What I enjoy is Leon's standard move where he does like a weird robot move where it's like does this move. It's hard to explain, but yeah, we need to make a meme out of that.
I was gonna say, if you want to see it again, just watch the clip again, wherever that meme is that we're hoping is being made somewhere right now.
Yeah, please send us that. That's going to be so good. Just when it's got when the Holy Spirit hits in the middle of a song and it's just Leon. When Dancing Queen comes on at the wedding. Oh, that's going to be so good. I'm going to be in so much trouble, but it's worth it.
It is so worth it. Should we see what else everyone has been saying as well? So again, we've got loads of love for Peace Be Still. What time did you say that was out today?
5:30 tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 5:30 tomorrow. Amazing. Lots of love again for all the volunteering and everything that's going on there, which has been amazing.
I've seen some comments of people watching in Toronto, in Canada, somebody from Ecuador, somebody from Australia.
From France as well.
Yeah, northern France, all over the place people are engaging. And you're part of us. We're really pleased that you can be with us. We've got some other stuff going on through the week, haven't we, Beth?
Yes, we have.
That you can keep tracking with us. So our Connect groups will meet in the middle of the week. Your Connect group leader will let you know. If you're not in a Connect group, fill in that next step form online, and we'd love to put you in one. Our Instagram live in the middle, we've got Kathy Madavan joining Leon this week.
Nice.
So that's 12 p.m. midday on Wednesday, so in the middle of the week. It was so good with Jeff Lucas this week, and we're going to try and record it and post it out to Facebook again. We've got midweek cruise hangouts,
our youth,
lots going on right through the week. Thursday night as well, we've got our prayer and worship at 6:30 p.m. Loads of just connect points for you throughout the week where you can stay connected to Lifecentral Church and stay connected to each other. But we want to encourage you to set up calls and set up connect with people in your sphere of influence. Think about who's that person that you haven't spoken to since lockdown that you think, actually, I'm just going to call them and let them know that I'm thinking of them and connecting with them. I connected with a bunch of my friends last night and it really lifted me. I came off the call and I was like, I feel like I've hung out with them tonight, even though I stayed in my house. It was really, really nice.
So I find that as well, just taking time. Did a quiz last night with some people online, so maybe there's something creative you can do like that. Just connecting with people, bring a little bit of joy in this season as well.
Amazing. We are going to head off because it is 10 to 1 and I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
Nachos for lunch.
Nachos for lunch in our house. We hope you have a fantastic lunch. Remember to discuss those questions over lunch, and we will see you next week. Again, the stream goes live about 11:10. Service starts at 11:30. We would love to see you again next week for more Life Central Church Online. In the meantime, have a great week.
Over here. Time.